Hello my friends, this is FC7 and I'm continuing my playthroughs of the anniversary series of tasks in EverQuest. Today is the 18th anniversary task, Fippy's Further Revenge. And of course, if you're familiar with EverQuest lore, Fippy is the EverQuest meme about a gnoll that tries to get into Qeynos, but he's continuously stopped. And I guess this is just a way of him having revenge. So on the screen, I'm just showing the quest and the possible bonus, which is a charm called the Darkened Blackburrow Trinket. It all starts here in the Plane of Knowledge with a sloshed gnoll. So just go through his dialogue here to start. And what you have to do also is you have to know the gnoll language, I believe, to start this quest, or some of it. So, as you can see, I just started the quest, but if you're doing this for the first time and you do not know the gnoll language, see right here I have a 100 skill, but what I had to do was visit my guild master, the class trainer, and just training it. After so many levels, I had a lot of practices left, so I just used that to learn the gnoll language, and that will get you started here. So when you start, you will zone into an instance of South Qeynos, and do not forget to run through this dialogue with Fippy at first. I made the mistake the first time I did this quest. I did not go through the dialogue, so the quest did not update, and I ended up having to start over, so just make sure to do this step at first. So today I have my box team. It's my A team, which includes my mage and my ranger, and a few other positions are filled with various tunes. My enchanter's with me, and I think my paladin. Level ranges are between 106 with my bard and 114 with my ranger. And as I always say in these videos, having a mage with you is almost a must if you want to move your team around. So what I'm going to do is start with the Copperholds. Those are the two bankers, and loot some Phat Loots. I'm guessing that's a joke from the developers on the phrase Phat Loots that we used to use back in the early 2000s. I guess I might have used it myself a couple times back in 2001. We're kind of dorks back then. Alright, so I'm gonna just start here with my ranger and just, well, first I'm gonna shrink my group because everything in Qeynos seems to be not well adjusted for the sizes of toons very well. Now, a lot of these mobs that you have to kill, they're what you call perma-rooted, so they don't move. And a trick you can use with various toons, whether it be a necro or a ranger, is just do ranged DPS. And since they don't move towards you, all you have to do is back off. In this case, it's super easy with the ranger. That's called summon kiting. So just have your healer mercenary out, and he will heal you as you're being kited here. This is an excellent task, but it's almost like the developers either could not or didn't think about having some of these mobs not being perma-rooted. Just makes it easier. And I just thought I would show some of my ranger's damage here. Did I mention how much I love rangers? I mean, he did like a critical headshot and finishing blow, and rangers just, you know, they're really impressive. But in this case, I'm going to switch to my mage. Got that step done. Switch to my mage and run to the next step. Teach the guild masters of the Casters Guild a lesson. There's 3 of them in here. I usually start on this one. Get my team ready. Send my pet in. Because right now my mage is level 109. And switch to my ranger here and just use auto shot. She does summon some pets throughout this fight. So I'm thinking that this is a mage NPC. I tried using my mage to do some summon nukes on the pets here, but it didn't work. Not sure what that was about. So now these 2 items are what you will be camping, are looking for from drops as far as drops go. They are Qeynosian scalps and Qeynosian teeth. You'll want to make sure to loot them because they're part of the final turn-in. And they drop from any of these mobs except the summoned ones here. The pets don't drop any. And I'm not quite sure why I'm having so many issues with this pet. Let's get this one taken care of. Move on to the next step. Okay, finally. Now on to this one, and she is an enchanter, so she does surprise me sometimes by charming whoever is on her aggro list. So don't be surprised if you're a tank and you get aggro, or you get charmed and the rest of your group gets aggro. These 3 don't seem to be perma-rooted, so that's good. And it looks like I got a lucky headshot or a finishing blow on that. Now onto this guy. I'll just pull him into this room. And then stay far enough back with my ranger just to have auto shot on. An impressive amount of damage. Alright, so now that these 3 are done for and taught a lesson to, it's on to the next step. So I'm just going to run to, let's see, who is it? Tabure, Ahendle. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Tabure. But it's the next mob you need to kill. And with this one, again, I'll just let the mage pet do the damage, and then my ranger do the DPS. And there is a point in this fight where she spawns 2 guards. Sometimes I can finish her before the guards spawn, but in this instance, the guards did spawn. See, there they are. And they don't seem to have many hit points. So right now they're chasing my healer mercenary. So I'm just going to target each of them and get rid of them. Pathing's a little wonky in this area. And there's one more left here. Okay. On to the next step. Okay. I have to make sure to do the loot, because you need the teeth and the scalps. Very important not to forget them. So on to the next step. And I believe this one is near the entrance. Normally the very first one I do, but I thought I'd just be a little bit different and start with a different area instead of coming here first all the time. So you have to dispose of Fish and his two patrons, which the two patrons are super easy, and Fish is perma-rooted. So again, just summon Kite if you're a class that can do it. Let me just loot this stuff. Oh, that I almost thought that was important, but it's just a junk og. Sometimes the two patrons will be wearing like defiant robes and gear, and you can actually see them with it equipped. It's pretty cool. I think in these old zones, the NPCs still show if they're wearing certain items or gear. So we'll just get rid of Fish. Alright, so now that Fish has been caught in my DPS, it's time to move on. Just invis up and move on to the last three. They're kind of located at the very end of the zone here. I don't know if that's northwest, south. One of my viewers was like, why don't you put the compass on the screen? Maybe I'll start doing that in the future. Does anybody else think that they're disorientated without it? Should I put the compass up? I also think the map helps. So let's see. This will be Joffrey Clay and his two assistants. And I was set up over here and just pull them out. So Joffrey and one of his assistants, they're not perma-rooted, so I just pull them out here. Let my pet do the tanking. And of course, just have my ranger do the range DPS. And at this point, you have to be careful because there are some guards that run around this area or path through here, and they seem to come in like a pack. So right now I have 2 or 3 guards that got aggro, but luckily I have my enchanter with me, trying to mez these guards with Deluge. And it can get to be a handful, so it helps to have an enchanter and know how to CC. And I just thought I would skip a couple minutes of that fight because pretty much redundant. Right now I have 3 guards that I have mezzed. And there's still that one that's perma-rooted, the task NPC, our mob. So I'm just going to summon Kite her with my ranger, all the while keeping 3 guards fully mezzed. And mez only seems to last like a minute 30, so sometimes it gets a little hectic if you're doing a lot of different things at once. But luckily I do have some experience with my enchanter. So what I'm going to do, since the task is pretty much over here, is switch my enchanter and cast an AA called Blanket of Forgetfulness. And what that does is it makes every one of these guards just lose aggro instantly. It's also called blurring, so you don't have to sit there and deal with them. So now it's back to the beginning of the quest. Back to Fippy to do the hand-in, the final turn-ins. You'll need 20 teeth, 10 scalps, and 2 Phat Loots. Remember, they drop from every single mob in this instance except the summoned pets. So what you'll have to do normally is just go through almost all the mobs and kill them all. But if you farm them beforehand, you don't have to do that. So the task is over, and I'll just show you the bonus reward. You get this item, and that's the item that you take to Blackburrow with you if you want to get the bonus loot. So I'm going to go to Blackburrow through my guild hall, find the Null Commander, because that's where you do the turn-in. First thing you have to do is click this item while you're in Blackburrow, and then find the Null Commander. So you click on the Qeynosian Scalp Trophy, and then you hand it into the commander, the Null Commander. So I clicked on it, and it gives a little piece of lore about who to turn it into. Now it's just a case of finding the commander, and he's up here. Somewhere up here. But instead of showing you how I almost got lost for 10 minutes, I will just do an edit and go right to the commander here and do the turn-in. And in turn, this is what you get. The Darkened Blackburrow Trinket Charm. And if anybody's not aware, a charm is a piece of gear that has requirements to get certain stats, so you have to meet certain requirements in order for it to power up or change stats. I have pretty much like a better one, so I won't be equipping that. Alright, so with part 2, I'm going to give a tip here, and this is a hypothetical. So if one wanted to farm scalps and teeth, I think somebody would just have to get this task like I'm doing now. And I'm not saying that you should do this. So get the task and don't even go through the quest dialogue at first. Just send a tune in, and there are 2 bar patrons that are next to Fish that I was talking about earlier. Now these 2 bar patrons, it looks like they were never upgraded to be a part of the main task, so it looks like they're still like level 5 or something. And if you kill them, they will drop teeth and scalps. So if one wanted to, one could get the task, kill these 2 guys, loot the teeth and the scalps, and repeat. I'm not saying to do it, but I'm just saying if somebody wanted to, they could. So that should just about do it for Fippy's Further Revenge. Any questions or comments, leave them below. Have a great day.